Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first August meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I'm your president, Becky Greenwald, and I'm here to say happy birthday to Club 27. We officially turned 112 years old this week on August 1st. So August 1st, 1911 is our official birth date, the day we became the 27th club in the Rotary Association and the very first club in the state of Iowa. What a great heritage we come from. So as your president, I received a very thoughtful congratulations birthday email from India on the 1st, and I'd just like to take a minute to share the message with you from Siran Pururi, who is the district chairman of global grants in India's Rotary International District 3150. Siran wrote, "Your Rotary Club of Des Moines was chartered on August 1st, 1911. Your club completed 112 years of service today." He did send me this on the 1st. "And in the Rotary District 6000, in serving communities across the world. I would like to extend my warm wishes to you and to all your club members on this joyous moment. Rotary is the only organization which has a global footprint and is working towards happy communities across the world with its noble initiatives. Thanks to our Rotary Club founder, Paul Harris, we are able to make a difference in the communities where we live. Rotary clubs across the world continue to execute service projects worth $2 billion, that's $2 billion every year in their communities. And Rotarians give 25 million volunteer hours to their communities across the world every year. Thanks and regards, Siran Puri, District Chairman, District 3150 in India." Thought that was pretty special, so way to go, Club 27, we rock. And now I would say it's safe to say that none of us were around 112 years ago. So I thought it'd be fun to look back at this Rotary Club Des Moines photo that we got out of the archives from 1914. And there they had, I counted them, 119 members pictured. And then here's a picture of our club taken this year when we had our February fling. So just those that were helping us celebrate that day. So now I have just a couple of items to share with you. And, every week we enjoy the Embassy Club's sumptuous buffet and the beautiful Des Moines downtown view. Well, our meal prices have gone up $2 per person this fiscal year. So a $22 meal charge will be reflected on your Rotary invoices. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, we get a bountiful spread every week. And keeping in mind how food, service, and other costs have increased over the past year or two, we're still getting a very good value. So just want to be sure you knew that. And on a personal sad note, I want you to know that Kitty Morehouse, our executive director for so long, and does so much for us, there's been a loss in her pet and Kitty's family. And I'm sorry to tell you that Kitty's sister died on Monday. Yes, and true to Kitty's form, she insisted from the get-go that she was going to be here today at Rotary and make sure everything went well for us. So I know you'll join me in keeping Kitty and her family in your thoughts during this difficult time as they work through their grief. So Kitty, we're all there behind you. And thank you again for making sure that today's meeting went well. We love you. I guess you clap for that. Okay, Skeet, guess what? You get to follow that. But Skeet will give us a moment of inspiration, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and our 4 or 5-way test. Skeet.
I don't know what to say. Damned with faint praise. Anyway, I like doing the inspirations at Rotary meetings every so often. I always look to the speaker and the topic that they're going to talk about for guidance and ideas. Kind of an inspiration for the inspiration, if you will. And since today's speaker is our own Greg Edwards, that's where I looked. And I I got nothing. Okay, no, seriously. Creating these folks at Catch Des Moines have quite literally changed the image of our city. Made it a place to come for conventions, sporting events, concerts, skating competitions, and many other things. They have a passion to bring people to our city to experience what we do every day, and sometimes take for granted. But I do have a question for Greg. Once you catch Des Moines, what do you do with it? Anyway, today's inspiration is about things that motivate us to change, hopefully for the better. Because change is constant in our lives. Change is inevitable. We say we don't like change, but 25 years ago, very few people had cell phones. Today, almost everyone does. And if someone doesn't, you look at them and think that's kind of odd. So a few thoughts on inspiration and change. When you have leadership top to bottom and a core foundational understanding of your why, inspiration and change can be easily ignited. You truthfully believe in your ability and journey no matter what the challenge. You invest in each other as things become harder. C.S. Lewis said, "Isn't it funny how day to day nothing changes, but when you look back, everything is different?" And two, from Nick Saban, culture doesn't change when a coach tells a player he's wrong. It changes when players tell other players that's not how we do things here. And finally, passion always looks like aggression to the unmotivated. With that, would you please stand and join me in pledge of allegiance and the 4 to 5 way down.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is it true?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Is it fun?
Reach your fellow Rotarians.
I'll be driving. I'm like, yeah. Part of the problem is that yeah, so I like it slow, so I'm kind of crazy. I know that, and I'm like glancing at it. And then I remember he just took care of his part. I know he's
What an energetic crowd. It's great to see so many faces here today, and we've got several guests to welcome. So I'd like each guest to stand when I call your name and remain standing, and then we'll hold our applause and clap for everyone once we complete the list of introductions. So first off, Evan Duvall with EcoSource, a guest of Kevin Kassir. Brian Edwards, Event Planning Manager at Kraus Group, and guest of Brian Beckett and son of Greg Edwards. Shalana Lane with Any Smile Labs, or White Smile Labs, and anything that'll make your teeth look white, sorry. A guest of Jeff Stickle, I can't read my own handwriting. Christina Torres, Matea Torres, Isabella Torres, and Peggy Stauffer, all guests of Dick Stoffer, and we'll hear more from Christina just a little bit later. Erna Moraine, past district governor, and Joaquin Rotarian and spouse of Steve Moraine, and Innocent de Umbaya, guest of the club. Great to meet you, see you. And Doug Bickford, Alzheimer's Association, and past speaker, and now who's applied for membership, being sponsored by past president Matt Busick. Welcome, everybody. And it's tumbler time. Just want to please consider donating $5 to the coffee cup if you don't have a green sign, dollar sign on your name badge. And even if you do, we can always gratefully accept donations for our Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation. And I always want to thank you for your continued support of that foundation, which allows us to do the programs that we have been doing in our community. Now, we have a special treat. Dick and Peggy Stoffer lived in Boone back in 1991 when Cristina Torres was a Rotary Youth Exchange student from Brazil. She and her family now live in Mexico. They are visiting the Stoffers, and they are all here with us today. So we'd like to hear a few moments from Christina. Please come on up, Christina, and welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. It's good to be here. I asked Dick and Peggy to be here, to be present here, because I want to thank Rotary for this youth exchange student program that you have. It has been since 33 years ago a life change from coming to spend time with my host families in Boone. I learned a whole bunch of things. And one of them is that I tell my kids that the best things in life are not things, are people. The best thing in life are moments that we share with people. So having the opportunity through Rotary Club to live and expand my horizons, learning other culture made of people again, having been received so warmly by my host families, and experimenting the American way of living. It has expanded my life from there. I did 1 year here, the senior year, and then I went back to Brazil. I am a veterinarian. I went to vet school, but since I knew and I loved the country, I came to spend 6 months doing internships in zoos in Canada and United States as part of my program in Brazil. I went back to Brazil and then I said I had to go back. So I came to study my PhD in UC Davis. I did study nutrition back there. And then I had to come back now with my 2 kids to show them that life is different here. We love things in Mexico, we love things in Brazil, and there are several things that we have to learn from you guys, from the way you do it. So, I'm not coming here to make a speech, but I want to acknowledge that through the program that you have, I am certain that you touch and change lives of many people around the world. Americans that go abroad and foreigners that come to visit here, and I thank you all. And obviously, I love my family, my host family. Last night we had a dinner with their kids and grandkids, and it was just a house full of good energy. It was wonderful, and I thank you all for letting me be part of that. And thank you, obviously, Dick and Peggy, with lots of love.
Wow, oh, it's so inspiring. Thank you, Christina, for sharing your very important message with us. So, where in the world is Club 27? Flat Mat was such a success last year that we wanted to continue it so that you're able to share where you're traveling or the fun things that you're doing. So you can check out the Where in the World is Club 27 on a stick or without a stick. I just couldn't see you tucking my face into the suitcases. And so it worked great for Matt. Just didn't work for me. So let's do this. Where in the world is Club 27? And what do you know? It popped up on Sunday on the tarmac in Cedar Rapids when club members Leslie Schaefer and Todd and Joyce Wheeler joined myself on the tarmac to welcome back our 2 flying Rotarians when they completed their around the world flight to end polio. So it's there for the taking. Please continue the fun and let us know what you're doing and the fun things you've got going on. So now I'd like to introduce Chad Halfville, who will introduce our keynote speaker today. Chad?
It's nice to follow Christina, thank you, because it queued me up nicely. One of the things that Rotary is about is business, but more so is the friendship and the community that comes with the community that we come together. And I was thinking about that, and I want to thank Kitty for pulling me off the street because I was wandering aimlessly the last couple of weeks, and she said, hey, you should come back. And we're on the 32nd floor, or maybe 34th floor, I don't remember, I just followed the other guy. But I think that's so true because the energy of family is what brings people together. And that's a great segue into our own Greg Edwards. I thought about reading a large expose of all this exceptional work and things that he's brought together in business, but we're not remembered usually for business. We're remembered for family and the relationships and humor. So I did a little digging, and in a sense, you could say that his relationship with the NCAA is a huge opportunity for this community, and I'll acknowledge that. And that he has reorganized, or that he has, as you've seen, if you've been anywhere near Drake recently or around town, you've seen lots of people in their sports, and the NCAA has returned, or the AAU Junior Olympic Games are here, and there's 30,000 plus people in the Des Moines Metro. So his humor, which is what I was going to focus on, I lost my cue, so I'm going to come back at it. But as I was saying, humor is a part of that relationship, and I've seen him up here many a times sharing a joke or two. I was to remind him that he needs to tell me, perhaps all of it is appropriate, about a penguin joke. So I will leave that to you and decide whether it's appropriate or not. But it is, if you have a family member that works within a restaurant, a retail outlet, anywhere in the goods and services in this community, it's his relationships all over the country and his relationships with the people that he works with that have had the impact on all of us and our family members that work in these industries. And I think it's that I wanted to echo, is the importance of relationship and that ability through humor and through connection to foster that. People really like this dude, especially his staff. And that's what I wanted to share. I don't think there's a greater testament to a person's character than having their staff celebrate who he is and to basically share that with me as an introduction. And so with that, thank you, and we'll turn it over. We don't need the expose of the business because the heart is where it all starts.
Well, good evening. Let's get it out of the way right away. Yes, I am standing. And Kitty, thanks for getting the milk crate that you were going to get me to stand on today. But can everybody see me? I got you. Great to be here, and thank you for that nice intro, Chad. You know, I sent him my 15-page bio and all that, but he said, I'm just going to wing it, and did a great job, so thank you very much obviously talk to somebody, so. Monsignor, I will apologize right now if I say anything too offhand, and we'll see you in the confessionary after the service today, so stick around if you don't mind. I need you, brother. My son Brian, thanks for being here. He's heard all this stuff before, and he'll just sit there and shake his head. He's kind of a mini me, so maybe he'll get more involved with Rotary as well. And I gotta tell you though, and I'm never gonna be one, obviously, that gets the award for not missing a meeting for the last year, or 15 years, or 40 years, or whatever. I've been in Rotary for 34 years now. I started in Kansas City and Peoria, and now here. But this club does mean a lot to me. I've made so many good friends here, so many relationships. I've never called on any of you to raise money, but that's why I'm here today. Just kidding. Your I should say ex, your past governor, I was a roommate of hers actually about 30 some years ago, longer than that maybe. Not that way a roommate. You guys have some dirty minds. Actually, I worked at Marianne at the time, was single, and Erna and her at the time spouse invited me to move in with them, so I lived with them for about a year, and I'm sure my hours as a single person and the way I acted back then was not very impressive, but anyway, let's move on. We're gonna kick it off with a little video to get you pumped up about catching Des Moines.
Greater Des Moines sports venues. A three-venue multi-purpose complex in the heart of downtown Des Moines with a 17,000-seat arena and attached convention hotel. The Iowa Event Center. An 88,000 square foot skate park, centrally located along the principal riverwalk with both park and street courses. The Origin Skate Park. A 66-acre state-of-the-art indoor and outdoor complex in West Des Moines, offering ice arenas and soccer fields, along with basketball and volleyball courts. The Mid-American Energy Company represents. Capacity for 1,500 spectators, located in downtown Des Moines, for Belmont YMCA Pool. A 14,500-seat stadium on Drake University, featuring the iconic Blue Oval, one of the premier track and field facilities in the country. Drake Stadium. City says,
Is this thing working?
Yep.
That's not on here.
Yeah, I read the instructions, but obviously I pushed this button.
Yes. There you go.
That little video we did, gosh, probably 6-8 months ago, and that's one of the videos of literally probably 30 of them that we have, but that's one obviously that we use to lure sporting events when we go in front of other events that we're bidding on and things like that. That's what we show. very interesting enough, the voice on that video is actually the director of our great ISISerettes here in Des Moines. We were cutting that. We raised, or actually hired another professional voiceover person to do it. And we're talking to this gentleman because the ISISerettes were part of that video and a couple of other videos that we've done. And thought, hey, you got a great voice. So bingo, he does that for us, and so he does a great job. Anyway, so I think most of you know what we're all about. I mean, we're here to increase visitors to the metro area. Sometimes folks that live here don't appreciate that because of traffic and full restaurants and things like that. But if you look at the good part of it, obviously what we do brings in a lot of different things. It boosts our quality of life. It makes us very proud of our community when we host big major things like NCAA and USA Track and Field Championships and all those great kinds of things. Job-wise, our industry employs about 17,000 people in the metro area, ranging from hotels to restaurants to retail to attractions, cultural arts, all that great kind of stuff. Obviously, we support a lot of the hospitality industry directly. Hotels, obviously, hotels currently really love us right now. If you look back to the last Wednesday when we had 60,000 people rolling in on bicycles, I got online the day before just to kind of check things out, and I went to the Marriott website, and they were selling rooms last Wednesday night for only $435 a night. So obviously it shows you a big demand was happening. Coinciding with last Wednesday was when this group that Chad alluded to, the AAU Junior Olympic Games, began checking in. There are 14,000 athletes here, kids from the ages of 5 to 18 years old, competing in 12 different sports. 13,000 of them are track and field athletes that are currently at Drake Stadium. We ran the other sports, as you saw, at the West Des Moines Mid-American Energy Recplex. If you haven't been out there, it's a great facility. We ran everything from cheerleading competition to gymnastics, jump rope. You've never seen anything like this jump rope. I always thought, why on earth do they have jump rope? A team from Hong Kong came in, 19 kids from Hong Kong came to Des Moines, Iowa to compete in their jump rope. And I'll tell you what, these kids, I watched them. They did a demo for us on our opening ceremonies on last Monday night. They ought to go on America's Got Talent because they are not only doing super stuff, jumping, they do handstands and jump rope at the same time. I mean, it's just incredible. They also have an event called Sports Stacking, which if you're not familiar with that, which I never was, I don't know if this was created by the AAU or who, but they take plastic cups like my kids would play beer pong with or whatever, and basically they just stack, and it's a eye-hand coordination thing. It's just incredible to watch. They have ping pong, they have trampoline, gymnastics, all kinds of great stuff. They have fencing wrapped up yesterday. So all that stuff wrapped up yesterday. We still got 13,000 of the kids here. The families, Drake Stadium every day is literally packed. It's as full as the Drake Relays with all these folks from around the country. We also had a contingency here from Puerto Rico. Gosh, I think 20-some kids from Puerto Rico that were here. I can't tell you if every state was here, but it's pretty close to have every state represented here. So great event. Our team, which I'll give all the credit in the world to, most of these events we bring in. We go out, we market, we sell, we find out when's your next open date, and we go after them. Obviously, our job's not an easy one. Our phone doesn't ring off the hook saying, hey, we'd like to book our next convention in Des Moines. We're out in trade shows working these things and really soliciting these things. And but this particular Junior Olympic Games and RAGBRAI itself, we were really wholly responsible for putting those events on. The Junior Olympic Games, my team is at Drake Stadium at 5:30 in the morning, and they'll leave there at 8, 9 o'clock at night. doing everything from ticket taking to, we've got a couple, 500-600 volunteers out there, you know, controlling crowds, just doing whatever, resetting the track with hurdles or just doing whatever it takes. So tremendous event, and thanks for inviting me to be your speaker today because that got me out of being out there. Venue development. So, you know, it's kind of funny. I look back in the early 2000s, we thought we'd do a study on what do we need in sports venues. You know, sports was up and coming. I mean, every family in America, their kids were in youth sports. Obviously, youth sports, they're going to travel, they're going to spend money on their kids, they're going to stay in hotels, all that stuff. So we hired a company to do a consulting work to tell us, hey, what other venues do we need in Greater Des Moines to enhance this sports market? And they came back, and we could have done it ourselves and saved the $15,000 or whatever they spent, or that cost us. They said you need more indoor activities, obviously, because of your harsh winters. They said you need more ice because hockey was growing in popularity. You need more soccer fields, you need baseball fields, blah, blah, blah. So we went all along, and voila, they built the Recplex out in West Des Moines. Grimes is doing this is like 15 years later, all this stuff just started exploding. Grimes has got their new facility, 12 turf soccer fields opening in Grimes. Ankeny's got a couple new indoor sports arenas out there that you can play full-size soccer, indoor, you know, wrestling, volleyball, basketball, all that good kind of stuff. They're just popping up all over, which is really good for us. It's good for the people that live here too. It's good for our kids. Obviously, that's why cities build them, to help their own citizens, but they also recognize the economic importance of these facilities as well. So you can see all the new stuff coming in. You know, the Drake Stadium was going to open in like 3 weeks. Don't bet on it. I'm going to guess it's going to be probably more like October. If you drive by there, I drive by there every day, and thought there's no way they're going to be ready for the opening day of football. I can't see my own slide. You've got the Grand Experience. This is something you probably read in the paper a couple weeks ago. There's a developer that's talking about building a huge hotel across from the West Des Moines Recplex, 400-room hotel, 100,000 square foot water park, and perhaps a small conference center to go along with that. They're doing a study right now, and more to come on that. Prairie Trail Sports Complex, which is the deal up in Ankeny. Keytown Loop in Waukee is another entertainment district with Live Nation that will be managing that facility. So that's going to be a great new facility in the area. Norwalk Central. Norwalk just opened a whole new bunch of baseball fields. They're opening some soccer fields. There's some new hotel growth down in that area. You know, Merle Hay, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but the Bucks Arena, that's kind of stalled out. They're still searching for some more money. It would really be a shot in the arm for that area and for that mall if that can come to fruition. The Pro Iowa USL Soccer Stadium, I think that's got a lot of legs behind it. I would bet that that's going to happen in the next couple of years. Icon Central Iowa Water Trails is definitely happening right now. There's a lot of big projects going on. The Scott Street project will be open before we know it. A lot of the different branches of connecting to the waterways are now open. A lot of communities, Johnston, West Des Moines, have built entrance ramps and things like that to put your kayaks and inner tubes or whatever you're going to float down the river. On and on and on. So we subscribed to a company just last year called Arrivalist. And you know, people are always asking, and we do studies every so often, how many visitors do we really have coming to the metro area? And we did a study about 4 years ago, and they came back and said you had 18 million visitors last year. And I thought, man, that seems an awful lot. But, you know, they're the experts, so we go with it. Well then, like 6 months later, Nashville came out and said, we had 12 million visitors last year. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, we of course had 18 million. So we kind of threw that one to the side. Of course, blew another 15 grand on that study. So Arrivalist came along, and this is a company where they track your cell phones. It's probably gonna be illegal in another year or so, but we'll use it while we can. So they can literally tell us where visitors are coming from, what they're doing here. Did they shop at Jordan Creek? Did they go to Adventureland? Did they go to the Civic Center? All that good kind of information. And they told us that last year we had 5.8 million visitors. Average length of stay was 2.8 nights, which is pretty much around the national average. Now that number we thought was maybe a little low, but for last year, still coming out of COVID, maybe it was pretty close. So we're going to stick with it for a while anyway. We'll see what this year's numbers show. They show us our top 10 origin by state. Iowa obviously being our #1 customer coming into Des Moines, followed by Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska, Missouri, Wisconsin, and then some surprises with Texas, California, and Colorado. Kansas probably not a surprise, but those 3 states coming in strong too. Well, California and Texas, you probably figure, well, big population states anyway. But I think a lot of the stuff that we're doing here drives a lot of that traffic. Obviously, this isn't just coming here for vacation, but some of it is. You know, Kansas City, Missouri, we never used to advertise in those markets. So we thought, why would people in big cities want to come to Des Moines, Iowa? Well, we started advertising there probably 5-6 years ago and continue to do so, and we see a good influx of people from that area. Omaha is the same way. Omaha doesn't have an amusement park. Omaha doesn't, Nebraska State Fair doesn't even compare to our Iowa State Fair. So we draw a lot of traffic from there as well. Top points of interest are the Des Moines International Airport, ranked #1, Jordan Creek 2, Iowa Event Center, Port Avenue, Mid-American Energy Recplex is now making that scene, Iowa State Fairgrounds, East Village, Prairie Meadows, and Adventureland are the top places according to Arrivalist. So last year in review, we had booked or hosted 332 conventions and events. 176 of those were because of our staff's input, taking it really from the sales process from the beginning all the way to the end and booking it. And then 209 conventions and books were booked. Conventions were booked for future years in the future. So banner year this year, I talked a little bit about some of the stuff this summer, but you go back to December and really coming out, we were still kind of coming out of COVID, I'd say the end of 2022, early into 2023, but we had a good shot in the arm coming into this fiscal year. January, February are historically our big ag months where we host the Iowa Pork Producers big show at the Iowa Event Center. We host 3 or 4 other big farming shows, Iowa Ag Expo, etc. Well, we also hosted, and we'll host again next year, the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. And this is a group that brings in about 1,500 college kids from all over, primarily the Midwest, that are theater, arts majors, things like that, and they converge on Des Moines. This is a partnership we do with Iowa State University, their theatrical department. And these kids, we put them in venues at Hoyt Sherman, the Civic Center. We use the old social club, the old firehouse downtown, and they'll do everything from theater to dance to singing, all kinds of great stuff here. You can see some of the other stuff, obviously NCAA men's basketball, another huge hit this year. I'll show you another slide on that here in a second. State tournaments, as I tell you whenever I speak to you guys or any groups, that's something we never take for granted is our state tournaments. Girls basketballs, boys state wrestling, the largest in the nation. Boys basketball, the track and field co-ed meet that we do here. Boys soccer, girls soccer. They may be, some are big, some are smaller, but that's very important to us to keep here, obviously, in the capital city. World Pork Expo. I think I've used this joke before, but I'll tell it to you again. I go to my annual convention every year, and I'm talking to my colleagues from Miami and Phoenix and San Diego and whatever, and they are all standing around bragging about, yeah, we booked the Super Bowl for next year, and yeah, we've got the All-Star baseball game next year. And I'm like, screw you, we got the World Pork Expo. And they're like, that's funny. And I go, well, don't laugh about it. It's like 30,000 people. It's, millions of dollars influx to our community. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Sorry for the screw you, Muncie. I'm just getting warmed up, though. We hosted this year the Des Moines Challenge, which is a disc golf tournament out in Indianola. And if you're not familiar with disc golf, it's a great program. It's a growing sport. Indianola has built a disc golf course. I mean, it's literally like a country club golf course, but you're flicking the discs, And we help with that. That's brought in by another local group, but we help support it. We do a sponsorship with them and all that. It's a nice thing. Of course, Ragbri, huge event. Did anybody go down to Waterworks Park last Wednesday? Just a couple of us.
It was great.
It was great. It was hot. Excuse me, Monsignor, hotter than hell that night. But yeah, it was a great event. We just between, there's no media here, is there? Just between us kids. Oh, never mind. It was a great event for the community, but I don't know, for our organization, we will put a lot of money into it because it takes so much of infrastructure and, again, volunteers and hiring people and organizing the food vendors. And if you would have seen, and we've got some drone video, which I should bring it and show you sometime, of Waterworks Park with the campgrounds. I mean, it's like a city. It's unbelievable. It was a success from a visitor standpoint. I think people left here going, wow, it was a cool place. I'll go back to Des Moines sometime. But financially, it was probably not really good for us. But we expected that. We budgeted appropriately. Lots of other ag stuff that's coming in. We hosted earlier this summer a U.S. Rugby Women's Under 23 event out at the rugby fields in West Des Moines. If you pick up on this, we do a lot of this niche kind of stuff out there, which is very good for us. We hosted a USA Archery event here 3 weeks ago, brought in, I think, 1,300 kids. Archery's future archery artists. What is it called? Archers, thank you. My archers are beginning to kill me. I'm going to sit down here in a minute. Anyway, Indy car race, Hy-Vee car race, fabulous event. I know Mr. Oman over here is a huge IndyCar racing fan. I just went out there one day on Sunday, but huge crowds. We got to keep that track alive in Newton. We really do. It's a crown jewel in our state, and it's kind of sad that NASCAR has kind of ignored it now. But we've got to put more events in there. Everything that goes into that event not only helps Newton and Central Iowa, it comes back to us too. We host most of the race teams, stay in Des Moines, and on and on and on. Of course, Junior Olympics is happening now. The Iowa State Fair kicks off a week from today. The Savannah Bananas are coming to town. Quick story on that. So Sam Burnaby, owner of the Cubs, calls me 8 months ago. Says, hey Greg, have you heard of the Savannah Bananas? I go, oh yeah, I've heard of the Savannah Bananas. He said, well, they want to come here. And I said, oh, you're kidding, that'd be great. Yeah, but they want to talk to you before they'll book. And I said, what do I have to do with it? Of course, they want to talk to me because will I write you a check? Yeah. So I talked to the guy from Savannah Bananas, and I said, well, what can I do for you? Yeah, we're excited to have you here. I'll guarantee you will sell out our stadium in a matter of days. And he's like, well, yeah, but we need your help. Well, what do you need? Well, we need some sponsorship money. All the Convention and Visitors Bureaus, cities that we go to help sponsor us. I said, how much are we talking? Well, Kansas City gave us 30,000. And I said, well, you know what, we're not Kansas City. Let me go back and take a look at our books and blah, blah, blah. So we came back, we did end up giving them a $10,000 sponsorship, and he hawed around, tried to get me to 20, 25. I said, buddy, I'm telling you, you will sell out. You're gonna have a great time in Des Moines. He ends up booking 2 nights, and they sell out in a matter of like 24 hours. So don't call me for tickets. I don't have any. Anyway, so that's gonna be a great event. And then later in October, I know it's one of Skeet's favorite events. We'll be back here. That's the American Quilters Association. Just don't stab yourself with those damn things. And I worry when you do that. All right, here's a couple statements from March Madness time. So the main announcer said, Des Moines Gov is always one of the best March Madness sites in the country. Big crowds, wonderful people, great hospitality and skywalks. Dan Lucero, who only had 97,000 views. I got a shout out Des Moines and Wells Fargo Arena one more time. Awesome host city site for the NCAA tournament. Give it to them every year. More Des Moines is, less Orlando's and Albany's. Then a couple local comments there, and then Kirk Bowles, who has 212,000 views. Des Moines might be the friendliest city in America, which we hear those kind of comments all the time. So we have literally hundreds of social media comments like that. We go to bid. We'll go to bid for NCAA again later this year. First open year will be 2026. And we'll compile all this stuff into our proposal book and all that good stuff. So, 24 events. These are a little snapshot of some of the major stuff coming in next year. Know that the Kennedy Center, as I mentioned, is coming back. Of course, Iowa caucus is huge. It's sad that we're not going to have both the Democrats and Republicans, but if Biden runs again, it really won't affect us too drastically because they really won't have a huge caucus anyway. But you've seen the news, you've already seen all the commotion, if you will, coming into Iowa and into Des Moines. You'll see a lot more of it the next couple of weeks with the state fair. Huge event for us in the community. Obviously, in caucus date. The date keeps changing, as we always anticipate. It starts in February, now we're moving into January, but we keep a close eye on that. Obviously, work with the partnership, the Iowa Event Center, and a bunch of other groups to make that happen as well. What else we got? Maybe you can read all that yourself. What else was I going to highlight? USA Swimming. If you didn't catch, back to this slide, we did host the Speedo Summer Sectionals, which I did model for that event. Okay, I'm going to wrap up here. So I want to show you this slide, which, showing graphs on a PowerPoint is always so interesting because people can read them or understand them. But just real quick, so we do what's called our PACE report, our sales PACE report. And we compare ourselves to comparable cities, Grand Rapids, Lexington, Providence, and Omaha. We are the green, they are the blue. Well, you can see that these are on the books, groups, conventions, what have you. 2023, we're way ahead of the curve. 24, we're ahead. Every year, we're ahead of the curve up to 2026 anyway, I guess. So, pretty proud of that. We've got a new website design. Oh, I got to talk about this real quick. So we do these mailers every kid, sorry. I'm really gonna be sorry after this, Monsignor. We do mailers every quarter to 600 and some of our key clients or potential key clients. We always try to do fun stuff. Well, this year the staff came to me and said, Greg, we want to do whoopee cushions. And I go, seriously? You think that's appropriate? Oh, yeah. So we sent out 635 of these, actually, with the message, Come Let It Rip in Des Moines. In Des Moines, the S's are silent, but we're deadly serious about hosting events. And the other one was, you won't be deflated when you see our first-class facilities, convenient amenities, authentic experience. In fact, we're sure you'll exclaim, Des Moines is a gas. Planners are shouting, whee! After they host a meeting or event in Des Moines. That's because our city is making noise. Recently ranked as one of the top 20 best cities to live in by U.S. News and World Report. Get a good whiff of Des Moines here. We've gotten a lot of compliments on that. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness, always entertaining and so much going on. It's so exciting to be here in Des Moines. So, on a serious note, thank you, Greg, for sharing all that information with us. And we're so happy that you are a member of our club. We're going to work on you, Brian. Anyway, as a token of our appreciation, we have donated a book in your honor to the Des Moines Public Library. Your book will become part of the Rotary Rosie Reader Van collection, and our club donated $40,000 to the Des Moines Public Library Foundation to purchase this van back in 2020. Now we want to share some upcoming events that we've got going on. We've got flyers on your table and by the badges trays. And we promised that we're going to give you 2 additional opportunities to meet up with your fellow Rotarians each month. So here's some stuff coming up. And this Tuesday, we're going to introduce our Second Chance Tuesdays. The second Tuesday of every month is a chance to meet other Rotarians at the Big Grove Brewery and Tap Room, just off of Ingersoll there in the former Crescent Chevrolet building. The Big Grove manager is ready for us to gather in the southeast corner of the restaurant, and it's near the self-service bar. So if you decide you want something to drink or eat, it's on your own and it's right there handy to grab. So we'll launch this on Tuesday. Hope to see some smiling faces there with me, and we'll see where it goes. Then on August 24th, Music in the Garden. The Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden has invited our club to be their special guest that evening, and this is a family-friendly event. We'll have tables and chairs on the patio, and the entry fees have been waived for our club members and their guests. We do need to know how many people to expect, so we'll have a sign up with Kitty. Also, be sure to mark this on your calendars, please. September 14th, we're going to have our Thank Fall evening social event at Jester Park Nature Center. We're encouraging you to bring your guests, loved ones, and prospective members to join us for this fun evening to ensure fun, food, and friendship in a beautiful Iowa natural setting. And I gotta tell you, if you've heard of What You Smoking up in Luther, they're gonna be providing our Texas-style barbecue, and they put on a good feed. We also plan to showcase all of our new members from the past couple of years, so we encourage you to be there, meet our new members, invite your potential prospective members to come join the fun and get to know us. So now a little bit on our upcoming meetings, and just please remember that you and your guests need to RSVP by Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., the day before our meeting, and that you cannot register the guests on your own. You do need to do that through Kitty. And our upcoming speakers, we've got quite a lineup in store for us. Next week, August 10th, Kevin Foley's going to update us on the happenings at the Des Moines International Airport. August 17th, Bill Menner, he's with Iowa Rural Development Council, is their executive director. He's always got lots of information to share. And then August 24th, Isaiah Knox, the executive director of Urban Dreams in the Iowa Center, will be here to give us some information. I want to thank you all for being here today, our guests. You are a vital part of the Rotary Club of Des Moines, where Rotary Club means fun and business. So now, until we meet again, let's get out there and have some fun and do good in the name of Rotary. We are adjourned.